Oh my God. Okay, this is a joke. This is a joke. Oh my God. This is a monster. My brakes are not working at all, but I really wanted to get out here and test this bike. You know how it goes. Safety last. Don't do this, guys. Don't do what I'm doing. This is crazy. Oh my God. Look at this. We're catching up to this car. This is stupid.
Whoa, I was not expecting you to be there. Did you see the other guy that was just here? No? All right, well, you're here for the dual motor wired cruiser, right? Okay, cool. Let's go check that out right now. Don't worry about this. I know it's a rain jacket. Look at me. Don't even look at that. It's nothing. Let's go check this bike out.
Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out my dual motor wired cruiser setup. We're going to go into the details of what I added and what I'm going to continue to add to make this thing a beast and also more aesthetically pleasing. So let's get in there, let's get real close, and let's go over the components. What you see are two controllers, two DC circuit breakers, and there's a battery blender behind here. All right, so this controller right here is shunt modded to 50 amps. This runs the back. These controllers, by the way, they're both stock wired freedom controllers. They came from the company. So this one I got later on. This one I got originally. Shunt modded to 50 amps. This one runs the back. So this will send 3,000 watts of power to the back motor. And I notice how there's ventilation holes. There's some at the bottom also. This one, stock 40 amps, this sends 2,400 watts to the front motor. That's a Bafang G061 Bafang motor, 1,000 watt nominal rating. Just like the back over here, 1,000 watt. I know the newer ones, they have a nominal rating of 1,500 watts. Honestly, I don't think there's much of a difference between them. I could be wrong. But this motor is very robust. It has the steel reinforced gears. It's a huge motor. This is the biggest geared hub motor I've ever seen. It's bigger than this one, and this is already a pretty big motor, okay? So what I have here, these controllers, they run from two batteries. So these are the two batteries. This is the stock wired freedom 60 volt 20 amp hour battery, and this is the 25 amp hour triangle unit power pack battery that I got. And this battery blender back here is a 100 amp battery blender. It's rated for 100 amps. And here's what I did. So I wanted both motors to be able to run off of both batteries whenever I wanted to. And the reason why that's important is because the front motor will not get as much use as the back motor. This is the primary motor. I'm always using this. The front motor, as you guys will see in the video, it's almost like a turbo button, and you're not going to be using it all the time, especially not around turns. If there's ever any kind of traction related issue, you're not going to use it. Oh, Laura was inspecting the bike. She was sitting behind me. Anyways, you're not going to be using it all the time. And so what I didn't want is for both of these motors to run off of their own battery, because what would happen is, let's say this ran the back, this ran the front. This would just be sitting there unused, and this would be used up completely. And let's say I was going on a longer ride. This would be at a low voltage. This would be at a high voltage. Oh, Laura just sneezed behind me. And that's a waste. And so what I did was I ran these batteries through a battery blender. And then from that battery blender, I split the output into this XT90 connector, because these can handle more amps than these little XT60s, because this is running 90 amps through it. And yeah, I don't know if these can handle 90 amps all that easily. So I soldered on this XT90 connector. It splits the signal into 2 connectors. And so each controller sees one big battery because they're running from this battery blender. And so that means that both of these batteries will drain at the same time. Number one, that's important. And number two, there's going to be less voltage sag because you're demanding power from 45 amp hours of battery instead of just 20 or just 25. So that's going to increase the performance of these 2 motors when I'm using both. And it's going to just make it a little bit more user-friendly because both of these batteries will drain at the same time instead of one draining further than the other running individually. And so that was important to me. These blocks over here, I'm gonna probably redo this one to make it more stable and just paint some of these to make them look better. Even though these you're not gonna see, this I do want it to look a little bit better. I don't have a 3D printer and it's a lot easier for me just to carve out simple things from wood with my tools that I have instead of 3D printing special brackets. This will look great once I'm done with it. I'm gonna make it bigger and paint it black. You won't even be able to tell that it's wood. It's just a couple little things in there to help mount it up. Obviously, circuit breakers that each battery has. These are rated to break at just over, I think, 50 something amps. And that's just for my own sanity to make sure that just in case there's never way more current than I want running out of the battery. And it also serves as an off switch for this bottom battery, which does not have a switch. This top battery does have a switch, right? I can turn it on and turn it off. This bottom battery does not. And so I want 2 switches whenever I need to. They're almost like kill switches. I just really find that important. This whole mess will be covered by ABS plastic. It's gonna wrap around and it'll have plenty of cooling. And it'll look great. It's gonna be narrow, just like this. So eventually it's gonna be a fantastic looking setup, very clean, not waterproof, but water resistant, but still maintaining some airflow. I'm gonna design some type of a scoop underneath so air can get in there. And obviously it's gonna be protected from back here. So all of this is gonna be covered, but for now, while I'm testing, I need everything exposed. If you notice, I have heat shrink on this main cable that's going to the motor because I haven't put this on my connections yet, just in case I need to redo these, and I might have to, I don't know yet. But that's what's going on, guys. I did put the fender back on. I got so sick of this bike getting muddy from every little puddle that I rode through. I just put the fenders back on. I can't stand it. I'm gonna put one in the front as well. I am gonna shorten the front one. I shortened the back one. I think it looks really cool. And I do have the OG Wicked logo back here, which I really like because let's be honest, that is a cooler name. I know they couldn't use that for whatever reason. But yeah, I do kind of like that that's there. And it is somewhat illuminated with a backlight, which is kind of nice. This, by the way, this is my Garmin radar. I'll probably mount this somewhere else later, but for now it's gonna go up here. This also flashes, which is kind of nice. So I got all my lighting set up back here. Something else I really like about this setup, let's turn this battery off, is the weight distribution. And I still have my rear rack. I have the entire rear rack to use for storage. In case I go on some kind of a longer trip, I can store a big bag on the back. I don't have a huge battery there, which is kind of nice. And number 2 is weight distribution. So I don't have a lot of weight on the back. It's in the middle and it's in front of me, which means the front wheel is getting more weight, which means this will be a better balanced system. Sometimes if there's too much weight in the back, people get wobbling issues with their front wheel. Their bike might wheelie way too easy, especially going up a hill, which isn't safe, of course. And it puts more weight on the front wheel, which means there's gonna be less tire spin, which means you're actually gonna use the power instead of wearing out your tire, staying in one spot, just spinning your wheels. So this setup is amazing for weight distribution. And like I said, eventually we'll get this all covered up and it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna be a nice looking setup. I don't know if I can fit a suspension seat post in here. I'm only 5'10", and I like to be able to at least reach my toes to the ground, and I can pretty much do that. Not so much my heels, but my toes. Maybe I can trim this down a little bit, but then this won't work. So I don't know, I might just keep that as is. This seat is plenty comfortable. And guys, let's go ahead and talk about this front motor. So as you see, I got everything painted nicely. The Grin version 6 torque arms, I have 2 of them, one on each side, and it's all bolted in super tight. I covered the hose clamps with nice looking heat shrink, and so it looks all blacked out, very sleek looking. These bolts, by the way, they were longer before, but what happens is that these are locking nuts. There's a specific little part inside, a little blue ring, that helps lock these bolts in, and they were too long before. And so I shortened them down, I trimmed them down, and now they can fit snugly up against this torque washer in here, and it locks in place. I threw in a bunch of blue Loctite in there too, so those aren't going anywhere. Don't worry about this scratch. I made those trying to get this bolt in there. It's kind of a pain in the ass to bolt this on with this dropout in the way. So we'll throw some touch-up paint on there and that should be fine. And something else, guys, that's important about this is these torque arms, there's still a little bit of play on them when they're just on the axle by themselves. And sometimes that amount of play is enough play to push against this dropout and break it, because aluminum doesn't bend, it snaps. At least this aluminum. And what I did was I pulled this torque arm forwards, because the way it works is the front wheel generates torque this way, right? And so equal and opposite force of that is gonna be the other way. That's the way the axle wants to go. It wants to turn this way. And so what I did was, number one, I put the torque arms in the front so it's pushing into the fork instead of pulling. That way I'm not relying on hose clamps to hold this in. I'm relying on the structure of the entire fork. And I pulled these torque arms forward and then I bolted them in to remove all the slack that's in the axle between the torque arms. I did that on both sides. So this thing isn't going anywhere. There was no slack in there. There is probably zero pressure, zero twisting pressure at least, being put on these dropouts. The torque arms are doing all the work of absorbing the torque of the axle twisting, and these dropouts are just holding the entire thing up. They're not being stressed out, even though I did buy forks with beefier dropouts. And these are actually, in my opinion, beefier than the RST guide forks. And I did buy that fork, I have it in the basement, and I decided to use this one because it was bigger, it has more metal in there, and it actually required less modifications to fit this in. All I had to do was file the dropout in just a tiny bit to get this to fit in, and that's it. That's all I had to do, and so I was very happy about that. The RST guide forks would have involved a lot of grinding on the outside, which would have made them not as structurally sound as this. By the way, guys, this handlebar is fully loaded to the brim with stuff on it. I don't see any space at all where I could fit more stuff on this. And let me tell you what's gonna happen. Number one, this already broke. I hate how these are mounted. This little bracket down here is so cheaply made. I broke the original one. I broke this one. Wired sent this out to me after I broke the original one. I'm just gonna zip tie this. I don't even care. So far, this one hasn't broken. This display is for the front motor. I'm gonna put a little covering on this because my phone holder is already covering some of this display. I'm gonna cover this so all I can see is the power level and the voltage. That's it, that's all I care about, because I can use the speedometer on this side. I can see the power level, my pedal assist. This has no pedal assist. All I use this for is throttle, so all of this is gonna be covered. You'll just see this part right here and the battery voltage, and that's it. So that's gonna clean this side up a bit. And this, I just had to shift up a tiny bit so I can use my phone holder. The repair kit, my entire repair kit I have on the front because that's gonna put even more weight on the front motor to prevent wheel spin. I am gonna put another little pack over here for just tiny bit of storage like wallet, keys, and then a cup holder right here. So we're shifting more and more weight to the front. It does cause heavier steering, but it will cause less wheel slip. And that to me is more important. If you want lighter steering, yeah, you can lighten this up, or you can just go to the gym a little bit more and that'll lighten up the steering just fine. And as you guys will see in the video, I am having some issues with these displays with displaying the correct speed. Sometimes they're a little bit wonky. I don't know if that has to do with my wiring that I did, or it was really cold out and that was messing with the displays. But you know me, guys, we're gonna get everything fixed, working perfectly, and this is gonna be a perfectly working setup eventually. Sometimes with these projects, it's 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. That's just how it is. So that, guys, is the PsychoCycle. This is, I guess you would call version 1. We're still testing this out. Everything's still exposed. Eventually, I'm gonna be cleaning everything up, making it look very aesthetically pleasing. Laura is very excited, as you can see. Oh, that's your name. She's making sure I say everything important in the video. Do you like the PsychoCycle? No? No? Are you camera shy? Are you camera shy? Yep. But eventually this thing will look great. It's gonna be all cleaned up and looking perfect. But I think even right now it looks great. I do kind of like the smaller rear rack. It makes it look extra sporty with the shorter fender. We're gonna throw that short fender in the front also. And this will be my daily driver, my long range dual motor, all-purpose cruiser. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into the riding footage, the stuff that you've been waiting for, the testing, the hill climb testing, the top speed testing. Let's jump right into that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today is the day where we finally do some initial testing on the dual motor wired cruiser, the PsychoCycle, as I call it, because only a psycho would want to ride this thing. We've got 2 displays, 2 controllers, 2 motors, 60 volts. The rear motor is 3,000 watts. The front motor is 2,400 watts, giving me a total of 5,400 watts. And that's at 60 volts, because at full charge, if you guys know, you get about 67 volts. So this thing is totaling about 6,000 watts. 2 geared hub motors. This thing is probably producing well over 200 Newton meters of torque, maybe in the 250 range right now. I literally just got it out for a initial ride. Guys, it is so cold. Hopefully I'm not too muffled. It is 25 degrees outside right now. I got heated gloves. I got thermals on. I got my winter boots. I got heated socks under there. Big jacket. My balaclava under my helmet. My full face helmet, thank God for the visor. I want to ride around here as long as I can, give you guys some footage, and test this bike out. Right now the brakes need a little bit of a tuning up, need some new pads, but besides that, this thing is very much rideable. We'll first do our main hill climb test and see how that goes. Hopefully there's not too much wheel spin in the beginning. And I guess because it is very cold, it will help keep things cool on the motor side of things, and maybe some of the electricals as well. Yeah, it's so cold I had to put my snow pants on. So let's get ourselves lined up. My visor is fogging up. I'm gonna crack it open just a tiny bit. Let some air in there. All right, 66.7 volts, 66 something volts. Without further ado, let's do this. I'm going to do my best to launch this as fast as I can. 3, 2, 1, go. Wheel spin. 20. 30. Alright, we hit 37 going up the hill. That's interesting. The rear motor was giving me not an accurate speed rating. I wonder why. It's kind of weird. See that? It's only saying like 2 miles an hour. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. We'll definitely investigate. Yeah, I don't know. I did have to do a little bit of splicing with the wiring. And maybe one of them got messed up somehow. I don't know, maybe one of the speed sensors. Who knows? I did my best with the soldering and everything else. It's bizarre. Oh well, as long as it works. This secondary throttle, it's almost like a turbo button. Like I could be going fast, and then you press this. Whoa, it just takes off. Holy shit. Let's see how fast we get to 20. This doesn't look level, it's slightly uphill, but we'll keep testing it. I want to keep doing these pulls to also test and stress out the torque arms, the front dropouts, because if it breaks, I want it to break now, not later, while I'm 30 miles away from home. So we'll see how it goes, guys. Try and lean forwards to get some more, I don't know, weight in the front. Here we go, 0 to 20, ready, go. Oop. That front tire, you gotta be careful. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 20. Holy sh**. The GPS speed lags a little bit. Let's do it again over here. All right, here we go. 0 to 20, 3, 2, 1, go. 20. 30. 40. Wow. I gotta get these brakes fixed. This is not safe. I gotta like pump them to get them working. I'll figure it out, guys. Everything just needs a tune-up. Everything just needs some maintenance. We'll be all right. In terms of top speed on this bike, it's not gonna be all that much higher. Because each motor, I think, can free spin maybe up to 45. So maybe we would hit 41. Maybe. Alrighty, I'm accelerating, and then front motor just brings it up to a whole new level. My brakes are so shot. Yeah, it's like a turbo button. We just get to 40 instantly. It's this is crazy. We're gonna head over to our steep hill climb test. See what that's like. Almost hit some ice. This part's really icy. Have to be careful. So what happens when you ride around in 25-degree weather? I wonder how quick I'll wear out these tires now with 2 extremely powerful motors. So I think this bike's stock speed went up this hill maybe like 12, 11 miles an hour. And we're not going to do it from a turn because the front motor is going to lose traction. Let's start right here. Ready? Here we go. Dual motors. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy hell! Oh my god! Did we just go up that steep hill at like 25 to 30 miles an hour? In comparison, some of the 48 volt bikes I try that peak at like 1200 watts can do it going 8 miles an hour. 8 miles per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a freak of nature. And see, around turns, I'm not even going to bother using the front motor. Number one, I don't need to. I don't want to go faster on turns. I like staying upright and staying off the asphalt, staying on 2 wheels. Number two, the front wheel is just going to lose traction very quickly because of, well, just the nature of having a front wheel drive system. There's not a lot of weight on that front wheel, and it just slips very easily, especially if there's 2400 watts being sent to it. Yeah, I think what we'll do, we'll probably hit top speed very easily. See how stable the steering is. Not bad. I don't know. When I installed these tires, for whatever reason, I think there's more surface area touching the pavement, and sometimes people say that fat tires have self-steer, and what that means is that you'll turn, and it wants to keep turning in that direction. It's almost like it's turning by itself in the direction you started. And with the additional weight of the front motor, it's even more prominent. So you do have to, there's a little bit of a learning curve in that now the bike has a lot of self-steer because there's so much weight. Yeah, we could top out right here. Let's do it. Oh my God, this thing accelerates. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. So top speed, throttle only, dual motors is 41 miles an hour. I guarantee that's what it's gonna be if we did a top speed run anywhere else, because once the motors hit their RPM limit, there's still plenty of torque in there, but they hit an RPM limit and that's it. There's nothing else you can do. You will not go faster. So top speed of this thing, 41 miles an hour. And just to give you guys some quick references for your own sake, I am 200 pounds. This bike is now 115 pounds with everything on it. Maybe we'll get something slightly higher in the summer when the batteries are warmer and I don't have as much stuff on me. Maybe 42 miles an hour. Oh, it turbos you. Damn. Holy sh**. Holy hell. This is a freak of nature. This is a monster. Downhill speed, so we're going 36, 37. Second motor. Damn. That front motor is a turbo button. I'm gonna call it the oh shit button. I'm gonna even put a little label on it. It just says oh shit. It's the oh shit button. Come on, guys, come on. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. The rear motor just still feels so powerful. It just still has so much power. I love this bike. I could just keep up with traffic easy. All right, guys, so we'll do our official top speed run over here. Yeah, the steering is a little bit wonky. You got to watch out for that self-steer. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. 20. 30. 40. 42. Alright, looks like we're about cruising 41 miles an hour, somewhere on there. The acceleration on this thing is ungodly though. It's insane. We'll do the 0 to 20 on the way back as well. I really want to do some pulls on this bike to make sure that the front forks stay whole. I do have the brake sensors disconnected, so if you saw me jump there for a second, that's why. You got to watch out. You got to be careful with that. I am going to splice those in together with 2 motors, because currently there's 4 brake sensors and I only have 2 brakes, obviously, so we're gonna have to do some splicing. All right, guys, top speed run number 2. Once again, we'll do the 0 to 20 as well, and in this case 0 to 30. 3, 2, 1, boom. 20. 30. 40. Yeah, see, it just tops out at about 42 miles an hour. That's incredible. See, dual motors, it doesn't add a lot of top speed, but the torque it gives you is it's out of this world. Here we go. Oh man. Oh, my speed sensor is all wonky. Something's going on in there. Uh-oh. See you guys? This is what happens when you DIY things. Maybe because it's cold? Is that why? Does that have something to do with it? Maybe the displays are cold. Because it was working before. I don't know. Stop and go traffic with this bike now is a joke. I can accelerate so hard and so fast with this thing. It's crazy. I'm glad we did those tests before both of my displays broke. Again, I have no idea what's going on. We'll fix it, guys. That's one of the reasons why I'm keeping everything exposed. Is to make sure everything is working 100% before I put it all together and stitch it back up. You know what I mean? The hills is really where you feel this front motor kick in. It just pulls. My brakes are not working at all. But I really wanted to get out here and test this bike. You know how it goes. Safety last. We gotta keep doing this test. See this hill right here? This is one motor. And this is two. Ready? It just turbos you. My God. Unreal. Rear motor and then front. This thing is a monster. Jesus, just accelerates so hard going up the hills. What I'm gonna do, guys, for the second display on the left, the front motor, is once I get the speedometer issue sorted out, I'm actually gonna cover that whole display and just make it so I can see the voltage and the motor power level and what level it's at. Because it doesn't really matter. I'm not really watching that display. I only want to watch the speedometer on the right hand side when it's working again. Hills are a joke. It's a joke. I thought they were a joke before, now they're really a joke. Do some more acceleration tests. 3, 2, 1, go. Not much wheel spin. 30. Who knows? Maybe you guys actually might witness these front forks breaking out. You never know. I'm gonna just keep pushing this bike, pushing its limits. See how it goes. The voltage dip under heavy acceleration isn't too bad. Maybe 5 volts, somewhere on there. So I'm just thinking about these two motors that I have on this bike. If I were to do it again, knowing what I know now, knowing how I feel now, if this is my only bike, I probably wouldn't do this, guys. If you guys are really itching to put a front motor on this bike, don't do it. This rear motor with the shunt mod has plenty of power. It has all the power you would need and more. The front motor is just insanity. Watch this acceleration. $40. What the hell? It's craziness. You don't need it at all. It's only if you're a psychopath that you think, oh, why don't we throw another crazy huge motor on the front? See how it goes. Don't do this, guys. Don't do what I'm doing. This is crazy. It's crazy, guys. You feel the back motor pull, and then you hit that front motor button, and it just pulls even harder. Like you're already kind of holding on to the handlebars, and then you pull that, and you really have to hold on. I'm not kidding. Like, you feel the handlebars pull away from you. Here's a nice looking, kind of flattish spot. You never know though, like there's a little bit of a slope, so you never know if it's truly flat. But this isn't my official place where I do my testing, but I just want to do more hard pulls with this thing. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, we're at 40 immediately. We get to 40 so fast. My brakes are not working. Safety last, guys. Let's do another pull here. 0 to 20. You guys can watch the speedometer. 3, 2, 1, go. There it is. 40 miles an hour. I kind of was hoping that it would hit something like 43. What are you gonna do? Some might say that 40 is plenty fast. What is nice about this bike is that we get there so fast. Like, you don't need a long straightaway to hit that top speed. You will just accelerate. You'll rocket ship up to that level. And I guess what else is good is that the torque this thing has now to go up hills like this is crazy. Craziness. It's like a turbo button. I really like this throttle underneath. I might even lift it up a little bit so I can reach it better. But I really like that design. It kind of stays out of the way, and I only need it. I only use it when I need it, like a turbo button, like right now. If I want to go 20 miles an hour up any hill, that button is there for me. For the most part, I'm just happy with the rear motor. I thought this was an awesome bike already, just with the rear. Fantastic. Link below in the description if you guys want to check out this bike, the Wired Freedom and Cruiser. If you use that link, it does help support the channel at no extra cost to you. It helps me make more videos like this for your viewing entertainment. Guys, subscribe if you like videos like this, if I've earned your subscription. Like the video if you like it. And if you don't, tell me why you're mad. Tell me in the comments. Tell me your life problems. Once I get the brakes fixed, I'll be more confident with this bike, and I'll get the speedometers fixed, and I'll cover up the left one, and I'm gonna put plastic on all the electronic components, and this thing will be a nice little daily driver of a cruiser. This is for the YouTube commenters. You know who you are. Speed limit 25. 25? Okay. How about 40? I'm sorry, officer, the speedometers aren't working, so I don't know how fast I was going back there. By the way, guys, this bike has 45 amp hours of 60 volt power in it. So it's got a lot of battery, a lot of power, and by the way, it is heavy. It now weighs 115 pounds. Front motor shut off on me. That's weird. Still works. Wonder why it shut off. Interesting. Oh well. So we're just chilling 10 miles an hour. Watch this. There it is. We're probably at 30. Yep. Already. Weird. I wonder why that front motor turned off. I wonder if I'll have to go through all my wiring and redo it. That would be such a huge pain in the butt. Maybe it has something to do with the display and the cold. Because, guys, it is very cold. I don't know. It turned back on. Nothing smoking. I don't know. Let's keep going. There you go. Another pull. 3, 2, 1. Boom. 20. 30. Jesus. The acceleration is just unbelievable on this thing. I can keep up with this car confidently, with full confidence. You can get on the main road and accelerate to full speed with full confidence. Let's try this thing on the gravel. Oh my god, so much wheel spin. Let's climb this hill. See how this hill climb goes. Let me just get situated. Alright, here we go. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god. That was nothing. That was nothing for this bike. I don't want to go down this hill because my brakes are bad. But we'll go up the hill. Let's go around. If I were to do this all over again, guys, knowing now what this amount of power feels like, I would just get a single very powerful motor. I wish Surons looked more like bicycles. Something mid-drive. But unfortunately, they look like dirt bikes. One of the perks about this bike is that it looks like a regular bicycle. Maybe not so much this one anymore, but the normal wired cruiser. And Surons look like dirt bikes. If there was some mid-drive, if there was some type of a bike that was like ready to buy like a Suron that was a mid-drive, that looked like a bicycle, that would be amazing. But there isn't. It's either you get a Suron or you DIY something with the maybe the new CYC motor, maybe the BBS HD with an aftermarket controller. You have to build that. All right, let's try this hill. Ready? Here we go. That was scary. How easy it went up that hill. That was terrifying. Look at this. We're catching up to this car. This is stupid. Let's keep up with this car on the hill. This is insane. See, now the speedometer is working again. I don't know what's going on, guys. Maybe it's the cold. Maybe it's my wiring. I don't know. Let's see how fast it goes up this hill. This used to be my early hill climb test for steep hills, but we found a better one. Something a little bit more scenic and safer. But I want to do this one again. Here we go. Wheel spin. Okay, this is a joke. This is a joke. I can't even floor it. This is insane. I gotta fix these brakes so bad. Alright guys, that is it for today. Hope you guys liked the video. That's the initial test run of the PsychoCycle, the dual motor wired cruiser. We came out here in 25-degree weather for our testing and your entertainment. My entertainment too. I was so excited to test this out. I really wanted to see how it went. And I pretty much got what I expected. Low 40-mile-an-hour top speed. The 0 to 20 is, I don't even know what it is. It's crazy. I gotta check it out in the timer. Completely obliterates all hill climb testing. Everything. Would you build something like this? Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it if I were you. The regular wired cruiser with an extra battery is perfect. Honestly, it's a really good system. Probably wouldn't change anything. Just get out there, enjoy your bike. Don't keep modding and tinkering like me. Get out there and ride your bike. Have fun with it. Go on some group rides. That's how you enjoy these bikes. Hope you guys liked the video. Until next time.